Hi, my name's Josh Crivets. I'm the Sales Automation Manager at NIB. And as Chris said before, 12 months ago, or a little bit less, I was sitting in the audience where you are today. And we were just starting our data transformation journey. There's no way I thought that we would have enough results or successes or learnings to be up here to share those with you. But here we are, and I'm going to go through some of those with you today. Now, I'll call out the photo here. I am a bit of a runner, but I'm wearing a singlet from Tealium, soon to be a shacket from the Gap. I love Datalase. I'll talk a little bit about where that comes from later, but I love Datalase is interesting because I do, but within NIB, I'm not the data guy, I'm the sales guy. And the thing is for me that data doesn't make sales. And in private health insurance, I don't believe that our price or product makes sales either. Experience is the thing that makes sales with health insurance, and it's such important to be talking about something as important as someone's health that we're insuring. So if it's experiences that sell health insurance, it's the data that enables those experiences, and that's why I love data layers. So who are we? If you don't know anything about NIB, we are a private health insurer in Australia, but we also have some other lines of businesses around travel, life, income protections as well. Based in Newcastle, but we've got sites all across the globe and a total of 1,500 employees. And importantly, we have a multi-channel distribution. So we've heard a lot today from e-commerce sites, whereas NIB rely on a pretty even split across our contact centre and retail centres and our online channel. So we need to be able to operate in both worlds. We also distribute our sales across aggregators like iSelect and compare the market. And we have some white label partnerships with Qantas Assure, Suncorp, TAL, AAMI and Apia. One of the challenges we have in our industry is some heavy regulation, which really restricts any limitations around our product offerings. There's got to be a lot of standardisation that exists. So the real way for us to stand out is through experiences. And we're a reputable brand in Australia, covering over 1 million Australians already. So today I'm going to talk about our data transformation, and before we do that, I think we need to look at where we began. And like a lot of companies out there, when we started this journey, our technology platforms were probably not set up the way that were going to make us successful in a competitive market. So from a data point of view, we were really limited and siloed in our view. So if a customer was transitioning across channels, and I talked before about less than half of our sales go through our online channel, but 100% of our sales will start on the web. At some stage, they'll interact. But we weren't able to track that view across those channels between our contact centres and start to change those experiences in that sense. And one of the big things we were missing out on is that a customer could go online, choose a product and a price, but they couldn't save that quote. They couldn't then continue it later on. So not a great experience, but we're also missing out on a huge amount of lead opportunities for nurture and follow-up. We did have some lead nurturing, and again, really important across our channels that we're able to connect with customers in that journey. But it was really simplistic and basically involved 100% of our leads receiving an outbound phone call. We had no other real nurture journey to include things like email or SMS. And of those lead campaigns, we were really basic prioritisation. So we could segment at a campaign level, but couldn't really change the experience for an individual within those campaigns. So a real opportunity for us to change, and we wanted to invest into the MarTech opportunity that was out there. And we set out with a number of goals. The first of those was to access data. Obviously, before we can unlock it, we need to have it available to us. Secondly, more leads. We'd already proven that leads were good for our business, but it was getting harder for us to collect leads in the market, but also the quality of those was declining. People were less likely to give us that information. And if you wanted to purchase leads, they were getting more expensive. So around more leads and more quality of those leads. We wanted to be able to do more than just outbound phone call our customers. We wanted some marketing automation involved that provided some sophistication about being able to make some real-time decisions and segment audiences across email, SMS, and also our existing phone call channel. Lead scoring and prioritisation. We had some really good models in play, the ability to understand the best time to call model or the profitability, potential profitability of our leads, but we had no way to operationalise those. We couldn't execute on those models, and that was something really important to us. And one of the key challenges with that, with our health insurance business, is that there are a couple of periods throughout our year seasonally where our lead volumes can triple for a month. End of June, end of financial year, we have a glut of leads and our outbound contact centre couldn't be resourced to support an increased lead volume and then be able to drop back down in July. So we had no way of getting our best leads to the right channel at that time. So we wanted to also look at omni-channel. This is what the customers are asking for in our sense. We wanted to be able to allow a customer to join across different channels, but we didn't allow that. We had really siloed views where our contact centre sales agents would hold their leads and they would actively tell the customer, don't go and join online, make sure you call back or make sure I call you. So we were set up as a business point of view, so we were rewarding our sales agents and not allowing choice for our customers. So we needed to overcome that. And finally, we wanted less reliance on our IT teams and our third-party marketing vendors to be able to move quickly to opportunities as they arise. So we needed that business enablement that technology was going to give to us. So we embarked on a lengthy procurement process through a number of technology vendors, and this is the solutions that we landed with. Firstly, obviously Tealium, and they're going to help us with access to our data and providing us information on who's interacting with us and how they were doing that. Also, they were going to solve the problem of identity resolution, being able to join those visits across the multiple sites in our distribution network. And then with all that data, create rich audiences that we could then use to activate. Our activation software in this case was Eloqua via Oracle, and they were going to take care of the lead scoring for us, the ability to start to make decisions on the leads that we had to make sure that we could nurture them through the right channel. They'd also give us the capability for automated nurture and start to begin our personalisation journey. Now, from our personalised journey online, we've also partnered with Optimizely, as many of the others have today as well. And they were also going to help our developers become with a more optimisation mentality across all of our applications. And finally, I think someone just said it in the fireside chat, we needed to clean up our own house before we could embark on any journey. So there are a few things we needed to do organically around giving our users choice across our three channels, but also changing the culture to make it okay for a sales agent in a contact centre or in a retail centre to encourage their lead to go and join in another channel if that's what suited them. And the other key piece there was really the simple one, enabling our customers to send themselves a quote and then retrieve it in any channel to continue it, something that people expect today. So this is a little look at the design, and going through this morning, the theme around collecting, transforming, enriching, and then activating our data is what we were looking at doing. So over on the left, we're collecting our data, and using Tealium IQ, we're collecting all of our web data, all of the clicks, all of the form completions, all of our abandoned customers, and all that's getting passed through to Tealium. This is data we didn't have access before. But importantly, as I said, it's only 50% of our channel, so we needed to feed in a lot of offline data to get a really good view on our customers. So our telephony system, every inbound phone call, every outbound phone call, all of this is now passing through to through into Tealium. All of our chats, all of our emails. It's really working well for us to have that rich picture. And finally, our policyholder information. We've got our quotes and our joins and any of our lapses as well, giving us a really good view of offline data that we can match with our online data. Tealium then does all the magic around transforming and enriching that. So it's stitching those users together and giving us a really good profile, and that's all flowing through via event stream. And then once we've got those profiles in place in Audience Stream, we're able to activate those through some of our existing technology partners, but also the new ones we've just invested in as well. So with Eloqua, a really simple first case, I'll talk about this in a moment, but being able to capture a quote online, identify that in Tealium and give some data to Eloqua to then start nurturing that. And Optimizely, one of the big challenges we had there, and a couple of the guys today talked about 87 and 84 different front pages of their website. We had one, so we're coming for these guys, but we had one and it was very sales focused. So our web page was dedicated to the sales offer of the month, whatever was available out there, and that was quite important to us, but that was no good for an existing member who would navigate to nib.com.au and start to see an offer that they weren't eligible for. So by using Tealium and badging our customers, we can give them a different view straight away. So we're up to 2 and we're coming, all right? 80 by the end of the year. The activation piece there, though, has been really simple for us. So the beauty of Audience Stream is I'm the sales guy, not the data guy, not really the tech guy. I can configure these things and pass our data through to our technology solutions, so it's activated. And the last thing that's really important as part of this, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, is how we're storing every event. So our strategic partner there is Snowflake, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. So 12 months ago, or a little bit over 12 months, I was sitting there, and these are now some of the results that we've seen, which were quite unexpected. First of those being 50 million events now we've tracked. Now, it's not in the trillion or teratrillion or whatever we were talking about earlier. We're contributing some of that, but these are now, all this information is rich and giving us great insights that we haven't had access to before. 90% increase in our leads. So I think we've beat Monash there. They were talking about 19. So we've got 90% increase in leads by starting to track that web data that we didn't have access before. And I talked about how valuable these were to us, but by doing 90% more, we were able to achieve a lot more interaction with our customers in that buying purchase and get some great results from that. Not only do we get more leads, they're of a higher quality. So again, an existing customer could be easily identified and taken out of a sales nurture flow. There's nothing worse than ringing a customer and saying, hey, would you like to join NIB? And they already remember. So we've also got 16 automated campaigns live in the last 12 months. And talked about that pilot campaign that we had. Right? First cab off the rank, let's start to nurture our quotes that we've got underway. And this was using the data that we had, passing it through to Eloqua, the simple nurture campaign, and then starting to optimize that and learning from that. That one campaign alone achieved a 7% increase in our quote conversion. And that benefit alone covered our entire spend on our technology stack. So the other 16 have just given us additional benefits to that through some really simple practice and optimization that we've got out of it. Our lead scoring models are now active. So we've done some great work in understanding, based on some key attributes, what time of the day a customer is likely to answer the phone, based on what we know about them. We can now operationalize that using Telium and Eloqua to dial the customer at the time they're most likely to pick up the phone. It's great for us from an efficiency point of view. We're not wasting dials. But also, again, if we're talking about experiences, we're not calling someone when, based on previous behaviour, they're not likely to want to be called as well. And that helps with balancing out our lead models around making sure that our best leads are going to the right channel at the right time. We've seen a shift of sales that are going to our online channel. Based on omni-channel enablement, our salespeople are now rewarded for the sale if it does join in another channel. So we're able to encourage them to let their customer know that it's okay to go and join on the web, and they'll still get the credit for the sale. But also for the customer, they can choose the time that's right for them to join. They don't need to wait until the contact centre's open or wait in line at a retail centre. They've got that choice available to them now. So we've broken down those silos. And lastly, and probably the most unexpected benefit, is the business enablement that we've seen. So previously, we had a third-party marketing agency. It was quite slow. And the truth of this one came from an example really early on in our journey. So it was June last year, and again, we just started our journey, and we're at a sales huddle. So June is probably our busiest sales time, and we had a really great offer in the market at the time. And we're in a sales stand-up, and our head of marketing said, got a great offer at the time. It would be great to be, it's a throwaway line where he said, it would be great to be able to send an SMS to these customers in the last couple of days. But it was a throwaway line for him because his experience was we'd have to go off and engage our third-party marketing vendor, brief them in, wait for a response, check that internally, get it approved, send it back, get some testing done, and that was a 4-week process. So we're in this huddle as the technology rolled out, and we said, well, we might be able to help with this. And within 4 hours, we were able to talk to our content team, get a script together, take it up to our legal team, within the systems then, configure the audience and configure the campaign. Within 4 hours, we had an SMS out live to our prospective members, reminding them of how good the offer was and how it stacked up against our competitors. And that performed really well. And that's just one example of how we've been able to move really quickly now by being technology enabled and have people in the business that are able to drive this rather than reliance on IT teams or third-party marketing vendors. So these benefits have been fantastic for us, and as I said, very unexpected. But I guess with any transformation journey, there's a few things we've learned. I just want to share those with you. And it's funny because listening to things this morning, there's nothing new here. It's already been said today. So if you missed it, here is a chance to recap. The first one, start small and think big. So this is Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. And 50% of people that try to climb Everest don't succeed. Now, interestingly, we heard from Dave this morning that 78% of data initiatives fail. So it kind of means that you're more likely to climb Everest than achieve a data initiative, right? I think the theory, this was absolutely true with NIB. When we kicked off and we were looking at a data transformation journey, we had everyone in the room. We had our sales team, which is where we ended up. We had our service, our retention, we had all of our other lines of business looking to solve data transformation across the entire group. And all that meant is we just for months and months went round in circles with different priorities, different expectations and different requirements that we weren't moving anywhere. So we were able to take a step back and start small. And one of the key benefits of that is that our data security guys, and we're talking about a group function wide involving a third party to hold our data, the data security guys are freaking out. They're turning white, thinking this is too risky. But we're able to take a step back and start small. And we've just looked at the sales function within our private health insurance business. And that's helped us to start to learn to climb the mountain before we go and take on something as big and fearful as Everest. The other benefit with that is if we got halfway up, we don't have to go all the way back down. We're climbing many small mountains, which we can turn and pivot along the way. So that's been a really good learning for us. And again, I think we've heard a little bit of that throughout the day. I guess we're starting small as well. Start now, start straight away. Secondly, an innovation culture. So I think traditionally innovation's been stifled by excessive governance, unrealistic deadlines, and a low appetite for risk, where it's really the opposite that needs to take place for innovation to occur. We need autonomy, we need time, and most importantly, we need a tolerance for failure. And the good thing about NIB is that innovation is one of our values, and that's really enabled us to learn and not be fearful of trying different things without fear of failure. And I guess that's been a really good example that led us to number 3. Assume nothing and test everything. Again, this has come up today, but this one's based on a failure that we had. And during the start of our transformation journey, we were looking to redesign our whole online quote funnel. And we thought it was great. We had all this insight, internal ideas and suggestions around how to replace our old, outdated, clunky join funnel with something that was going to be much better. And it looked great, and logically it made sense, and the user testing where we gave people money to tell us what we wanted to hear worked well, and we sent it live and it performed much worse than the incumbent. So the problem with that is that we had changed so much we didn't know what had worked and what hadn't worked. So this testing culture that we've built now has really helped us, and encourage that with a data journey as well, making sure you're testing what's likely to pay out and then investing into that. The other thing with this is that having access to all of our data, we can now begin to make less assumptions and more informed decisions. Number 4, unite teams. We just had a fireside chat about this entire slide, but I think with all this technology is great, and as we said, it's absolutely useless if we don't have the right people and processes involved. And yes, here's a dog, a cat and a mouse working together, which traditionally they wouldn't do that. And for NIB, this is a great example of our IT team, our marketing team and our sales teams. Teams that all wanted to achieve the same thing, but never were working in their own silos. So the technology has enabled them to come together, and this isn't about team structure for us. We don't think structure matters, but it is important that you have that collaboration and the processes and the people in place that you can use the technology to get the best out of it. The next one, if Dave's still here, I'm sorry. I'm not devaluing your data science, but it's not rocket science, and I think that's kind of where he was getting to at the end of this. But we've always felt that data and science within business hasn't always been understood. And we've all heard about machine learning and artificial intelligence, and we've tried to translate that into our business. It kind of feels like climbing Everest. So we've taken a step back there and started small again. And we've gone and recruited a data scientist. His name is Levon, and by the sounds of Predict ML that was announced this morning, Levon's about to be redundant because Tilium's going to do it for you. But the idea here is to demystify data scientists in business. And Levon's a normal guy. He loves the Newcastle Knights and he loves Melbourne Bitter. I don't know if that's good or bad. But he's also really good at maths, and we've brought him on, and he's done some really cool stuff with our data. One of the key things with Levon, though, is he sits within our business teams. He's not in an analytics team. He sits within the business, so he's got an ear to the ground and can understand what's happening and make some of those decisions a little bit better. I just want to take you back to this slide we saw before, a little bit more informed, to talk you through what Levon's been doing for us. So he's able to tap into Snowflake, our data storage, and it's got those 50 million events in there. And through those events, there's different patterns and behaviours that customers are showing us that Levon's able to run his statistical knowledge across, and he uses things like p-values and random forests and all these statistical references I don't understand. But he can produce some models, and some really cool models. In this case, a likelihood to join and a likelihood to become a lead. Now, we're able to activate that using Telium in real time by collecting the attributes that we know are likely to lead to a result for someone to become a lead, for example. And in our situation, we have those attributes. We can pass that through to Amazon SageMaker, which will return a value for us between 0 and 1 of how likely someone is to become a lead. Now, for me as a salesperson, this is magic because I've now got a data point where I can change the experience for all of our users online. And remember, it's experiences that make sales. So if someone's not likely to become a lead, then maybe I shouldn't ask for their information. Our salespeople have got too many Daffy Duck leads with the phone number of 0412345678 that we don't need to get that to them anymore. We can start to predict who wants to be asked for a lead capture. And some people do as well. Some people really need help in the journey for private health insurance. But also, if someone's likely to join, then maybe we don't want to nurture them. Just let them go. Let them go through that journey and we can cover them later. So the value of Levon in our business has been great, and I think machine learning, don't be afraid of that. And it sounds like it's going to get much, much easier for us as Telium customers. Finally, embrace your support. Now, I think no matter how big your mountain is, make sure you've got some good Sherpas on board. And start off, this is a photo of me running the Gold Coast Marathon this year, and it's as a sponsorship deal from Telium, who were very generous to sponsor my charity for this event. And the I Love Data singlet arrived about 2 days too late for the event to be able to wear it. But I think their support of me is consistent with the support we've seen with them along our journey for data transformation. And it's been beyond just giving us the technology and showing us how to use it. But our account manager, Hax, he's driving me to get the use cases through. He's the one ringing me up and holding me accountable for delivering on our own goals. And that's been fantastic. But not just with Telium do we have this support in place. For Eloqua, we've got a team called Marketing Cube based out of Sydney. And the Luminary, who we just heard from, they've done some great stuff with us by reviewing our entire technology stack and giving us advice on that. And as soon as tomorrow, we're meeting with the Luminary again to really nut down our personalisation strategy. So I think the key here is that if we're new to this, we don't know what we don't know, and there's a number of experts that are out there. Make sure you've got access to those and they're using them more than just the technology side, but how to get the best out of this suite of software that's now available to us. So that's it for me. We're just scraping the surface in our data journey, and I think that's the key. We've done a really small part of our business and gained a lot of momentum that's going to look to roll out over the next few years. So hopefully I can be back up here and share that with you then.